Hey there, my name is Davis. I'm here on our Irish farm at the Frontier Culture Museum playing some tunes today. And now, rather than talking about a particular tune, I want to talk about the instruments that we use here at the Frontier Culture Museum. So, if any of you have been seeing any of the other videos in this series, you may have noticed that we're tuned a little funny compared to your modern tuners. That is because the instruments that we like to play are reproduction Baroque instruments. So, this is an instrument that is not actually 250, 300 years old, but it's set up like a 250 to 300-year-old instrument. This is my modern fiddle. So, to the untrained eye, you're probably like, wow, those look really similar, Davis. What are the differences? Well, I'll tell you, there's a couple really key ones. So first, there's some quality of life improvements on the modern fiddle that really don't exist on 18th century fiddles. The biggest of those being the chin rest and these fine tuners right here. Makes it a little bit easier to tune the instrument than having to rely entirely on the friction pegs up here at the scroll. The other really huge difference is how the instrument is strung and how it is tuned. So a modern violin uses strings that are made of a combination of metal, usually silver wound, and nylon. So it'll often be a nylon core wrapped in silver. And that creates this very bright, consistent tone. But that is not how most strings in the 18th century are being produced. Obviously, there's no nylon in the 18th century. So instead, 18th century instruments are strung in gut, usually beef or sheep gut. One of my strings is also wound in silver in this case. That is a technology they have in the 18th century. But it's a gut core wound in silver. Okay, Davis, why are you talking about guts? What does this actually mean? Why does any of this stuff matter? I'll tell you. So, gut strings, because they're gut, not nylon, don't have the tensile strength of nylon. You can't hold them under as much tension without them breaking. One of the results of that is that in order to make the instrument sound good, it has to be tuned lower. So if you're following along trying to play a lot of these tunes on your fiddle at home, you're probably struggling because your A is tuned slightly higher than the 18th century Baroque A, and that has to do with how things are strung. The final big difference is that gut strings tend to produce a very mellow tone, whereas modern strings tend to produce a much brighter tone. So to illustrate that point, I'm going to play the same tune quickly through on each of these so you can really clearly hear the difference. So we're going to start with the Baroque violin and the Baroque bow, which I forgot to mention before, carries tension a little bit differently than a modern bow does. It's also a little shorter. The tune is called Captain O'Kane's. And now let's do it on the modern fiddle. So the first thing you're going to notice is the higher pitch. That's immediately going to become apparent. And then listen in particular to those low and high notes and just how there's a slight difference in the timbre to the entire thing. It's a slightly different feel.